Hi everyone, welcome to the inaugural Techstars Future of Longevity Accelerator Demo Day 2020 in partnership with Pivotal Ventures. My name's David Cohen, I'm one of the co-founders of Techstars, and I'm honored to be the first one to introduce you to this amazing Techstars class. These companies are addressing challenges across the caregiving landscape, both with caregivers and with the older adults receiving care. We're really pleased that these 10 companies with founders hailing from 10 different cities across the US and Canada are presenting today. They have benefited from just incredible mentorship and guidance from over 150 leaders in this industry over the last 3 months. Today is not at all the end of their journey. Really, it's just the beginning. These companies will go on to do great things and have incredible impact, and I love that. They're all doing good and they're going to do well at the same time. So thank you for taking the time to join us along with our partner at Pivotal Ventures. Their commitment and thought leadership to this space have been totally instrumental to these teams. I know you're going to be inspired and really excited by the 10 companies that you're going to hear from today. So thanks for taking the time to join us and enjoy.
Welcome to the 2020 Demo Day for the Techstars Future of Longevity Accelerator. I'm Jason Towns, Managing Director, and today is special because it's an opportunity for us to celebrate the milestones our entrepreneurs have achieved and the journey that they're on to change the world. Techstars Future of Longevity Accelerator, in partnership with Pivotal Ventures, focuses on innovative and creative caregiving solutions to address the unmet needs of older adults and caregivers providing support for them. For those of you who may be new to Techstars, Techstars is the worldwide network that helps entrepreneurs succeed. To date, we've run more than 200 accelerators, like this one, having helped more than 5,000 founders. That's all added up to over $29 billion in market cap, which, according to Crunchbase, makes us the #1 investor in the world by volume. Today, after hearing from a few people who have played a pivotal role in making this program happen, you'll hear from 10 amazing teams creating innovations that, I'm proud to say, directly responds to the challenges exacerbated by, but not created by, the pandemic. With the healthcare workforce being totally overwhelmed by COVID-19, we're charged with the task of leveraging innovation to lighten the load for both family and professional caregivers. And as you may notice, our class truly represents the diversity that exists in the communities they serve. And because of that, we've been able to learn from one another as we work towards some common goals. I also want to take a moment to thank our global network partners who've stepped up in a big way, connecting our founders to resources and their networks. Cooley, Google for Startups, Silicon Valley Bank, AWS, Twilio SendGrid, HubSpot for Startups, Freshworks for Startups, Pilot, LegalPad, and Angels and Entrepreneurs Network. Before we go any further, I have to thank our brilliant mentors. Mentors, you have embodied the give first ethos. You've been instrumental in helping us make this all happen. In particular, I'd like to thank a few mentors who just went over and above our expectations here. Susan Golden, Selena Brown, Shariar Rahmati, Derek Hatchett, Steve Weisblum, Nardo Manalato, Monique Woodard, and Joshua Arma. Thank you. But guess what? We had over 100 other mentors who are amazing. So thank you. There are far too many to name by name, but as our founders say, the mentors truly make the program go. I've got to thank my team. Making this switch from an in-person program to going fully remote hasn't been easy on anyone, but we made it happen. And it was this team that helped make it happen. Eliza, Neil, Sean, Prim, and Sar, your support has been invaluable. To Jennifer, our entrepreneur in residence, thank you. I also have to thank our amazing program manager, Sarah Hippard. Sarah, we couldn't have done this without you. Your tireless work ethic and your attention to detail will always be appreciated. You're an integral part of what we're building, and I'm proud to be working with you. Now, before we get to the pitches, I'd really like to thank Pivotal Ventures, who's been an incredible partner in this accelerator, thank you for your partnership and your commitment to innovation, entrepreneurship, and your thought leadership in this space. And finally, last but not least, thank you, Laura, our Pivotal Ventures liaison, for supporting our founders and helping us to make this program a success. Really, really appreciate it. So, these 10 teams, most being led by founders who are caregivers themselves, are on the front lines, sacrificing everything to build successful companies, addressing the caregiver crisis, also creating a better tomorrow for your family and mine. So it's on us, the innovation community, to back great founders working on great ideas. So investors, operators, and others in the ecosystem, as you listen to these pitches, ask yourself how you might play a role in this founder's journey. And if you think of something, don't be shy, just reach out. Thank you for joining us. I really, really, really hope you enjoy the first Techstars Future of Longevity demo day. Take care.
Hi, everyone. Melinda Gates here, wishing you a great demo day. This moment couldn't come at a more important time. COVID-19 has exposed what we've long known. We need a new and better way to support older Americans and the people who care for them. Every day, an average of 10,000 people in the United States turn 65. These are our parents, grandparents, neighbors, and our friends. It's time for innovators and investors to recognize that meeting their needs is not only necessary for their well-being, but it's an incredible market opportunity as well. New products and services can help Americans maintain their dignity, independence, health, and social connections as they age. They can also provide much-needed support for unpaid caregivers, most of whom are women. Looking after our families is one of the most meaningful responsibilities Americans take on, and it's common to almost all of us. And that's why I'm excited that entrepreneurs like the ones we'll hear from today are stepping up with creative solutions to make this work easier. It's also why my company, Pivotal Ventures, has teamed up with Techstars to support these companies through the Future of Longevity Accelerator. To our inaugural class of founders, I recognize how much work you've put in to get here. Good luck today. And to our guests, I hope you will take the time to learn more about these 10 innovative companies and join us in building a better future for older Americans and the people who care for them.
Thank you, Melinda. I'm Jennifer Steibel, caregiving lead at Pivotal. Pivotal Ventures is an investment and incubation company created by Melinda Gates to advance social progress in the United States. We work with organizations and individuals to generate momentum where progress has stalled and use philanthropic and investment capital to substantially improve people's lives. Caregiving is a clear case of stalled progress. Our nation's care infrastructure is broken and investment has not kept pace. In fact, despite similar market sizes, recent data shows that there was 3 times more investment in one single gaming company than in all of elder care innovation. Pivotal's partnership with Techstars is part of our broader caregiving strategy to support new and innovative caregiving solutions for families. We want to help create a world where caregivers don't have to choose between participating fully in the workforce and caring for their loved ones, and where older adults can live with the dignity and support they want and need. Watching the progress these companies have made over the past 13 weeks, I am heartened and hopeful that we are headed toward a better future. These founders have tested their assumptions, conducted customer research, refined their KPIs and financial models, and are coming out strong and ready to take on the world. None of this would be possible without the incredible team who brought this program to life. Thank you to the Techstars team who worked literally sleeplessly to create the most valuable possible program for these founders. And thank you to each and every mentor from the Pivotal and Techstars networks who so generously gave of your time and expertise. Congratulations, founders. We are so proud of your dedication and growth over the past 13 weeks and look forward to your continued success in the years to come.
For the first time in U.S. history, older adults will soon outnumber children. No other demographic is growing faster than Americans aged 65 and older. By 2030, all baby boomers will be over 65. This amounts to 1 in every 5 Americans. Life expectancy is also increasing. About half of the babies born in the U.S. in 2007 will live to 104. Living longer shouldn't be a problem. It should be a privilege. But here's the reality. Soon, over half of America's retirees will not have sufficient financial resources to pay for the level of care they need to thrive into their golden years. Currently, over 40 million Americans serve as unpaid caregivers for aging relatives. This amounts to over 80% of the care provided to older adults. And 2/3 of these caregivers are women. Let that sink in. Older adults deserve to age with dignity, independence, connection, and access to health care. Dignity is being able to dress yourself without assistance. Independence is navigating the world with confidence. Connection is living each day in community and with the support you need. Access to health care means appointments with specialty physicians in your own neighborhood, early detection for treatable conditions, and personalized fitness classes in the convenience of your own home. Older adults want to age in place and be able to stay connected to their loved ones. They want to engage fully with the world in activities that evoke laughter and the joy of music. And they want to feel understood and celebrated for their contributions to the world. We have a remarkable opportunity to dramatically affect the quality of life for older adults and their caregivers. In 5 short years, Medicare Advantage is expected to more than double in size to a $590 billion market. Innovation in the delivery of care cannot wait. The time is now. The moment is here. Meet the leaders who are shaping the future of longevity.
Hello, I'm Susan Golden, the Director of DCIX at the Stanford Distinguished Careers Institute. Through my work in longevity and personal experiences, I've seen firsthand the challenges facing today's aging population. With over 10,000 people a day turning 65, loneliness and unaffordable housing are placing an ever-increasing burden on older adults and families alike. Although there are many innovative organizations working to address these aspects of aging, none that I have seen provide a truly comprehensive solution. Working with Techstars and Pivotal Ventures, I feel fortunate to have been introduced to Upside Home, with whom I've been working closely for the last 2 months as they build their company to provide affordable housing, community, and support services for older adults. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce Upside Home and its wonderful founders, Jake Rothstein and Peter Badgley. Welcome home.
Hi, I'm Jake Rothstein, founder and CEO of Upside Home. These are my grandparents, Joseph and Margarita. I was extremely close with them as I grew up. They helped make me the person I am today, and I love them immensely. 5 years ago, I co-founded a company called Papa to help my grandma out as she struggled to care for my grandfather. That company now provides companionship and assistance to thousands of older adults per day across the entire country. But I'm not here to talk about Papa today. Today I'm here to talk about my grandma. After my grandfather passed away, my grandma found herself alone, but in near perfect health. And she needed a bit of help with small things like cleaning and cooking, driving at night, grocery shopping, paying bills, and handling routine maintenance around the house. She also didn't want to be a burden on my mom or her other kids. So we sold her house to extend her financial runway. We rented her a cute little apartment in the neighborhood she knew and loved, and I helped out when the others couldn't. And this story is important because it brings us to the founding of Upside Home, where we've created and packaged a complete solution which tackles all these challenges that my grandmother and the rest of my family faced. Upside Home is building the biggest senior living community in the world without laying a single brick. We're doing this by offering completely turnkey apartments in vibrant and inherently intergenerational apartment communities, where a person like my grandma can live alone or with friends and have everything managed for her, so she can live worry-free, and so can her family. And my grandma isn't alone. There are 11,000 people turning 65 every day, and 39.5 million people already over 55 in the US. 90% of older adults report wanting to age in place, in the communities they know and love, and not in an institutional setting. And COVID-19 has accelerated this trend towards alternatives to traditional senior living. So how do we do it? Well, we're utilizing existing infrastructure in amenity-rich and professionally managed apartment communities to create a highly scalable, asset-light model. We then add a layer of services, all accessed through a single point of contact and executed by existing providers. We also act as a conduit of access to all the incredible technology and service providers who market their services to older adults. We are deconstructing the senior living facility. We're splitting it up into its component parts of multifamily real estate and third-party services to support flexibility, affordability, individualization, and scale. We make money on rent and we make money on services, and we can be profitable in our first year of operations. And it's working. In just the last 90 days, we've created one of the largest independent living communities in the state of Florida in terms of capacity, and gained access to 100,000 units nationally through our property management partners. We've generated over $12 million in qualified pipeline across various lead channels, and we've determined and built out our levers of scale both on the supply and the demand sides of our business. We've also had Pat, our first resident, move into an Upside Home, and she couldn't be any happier. And we're just getting started. By the end of year 3, we project having 10,000 residents nationally, paying an average of $2,500 a month on rent and on services, driving over $300 million in annual recurring revenue. And none of this even begins to account for the incredible amount of data we'll be able to collect in order to improve the health, wellness, and longevity of our residents. With social determinants of health at the forefront of the healthcare conversation, we're also already in talks with Medicare Advantage plans about subsidizing some of the cost of living in an Upside Home for their members. Upside Home is building the largest senior living community in the world without laying a single brick. And here's why we're the team to make it happen. Peter and I have been working together building world-class teams for 5 years. And with my experience helping to build Papa and his background in commercial real estate, we know this market. We know multifamily real estate, and we know how to build a scalable business. Innovation and smart capital have long ignored this demographic. It cannot be ignored any longer. The demographics are shifting, and the timing is now. Upside Home is reimagining senior living for my grandparents and for yours. Let's build this together.
Hi everyone, my name is Sunil Sharma. I'm the Managing Director of Techstars Toronto. I've also been supporting the Founder Institute pre-Accelerator here for about 5 years, and in that time have helped launch more than 300 new tech startups across Canada. One of the top startups we've ever worked with at the Founder Institute is Braze Mobility, which is led by Pooja Vishwanathan. I was drawn to Pooja by her passion for disrupting the health tech mobility vertical, which is a large and growing market, and also by her credentials, a graduate degree in computer science and a PhD degree in robotics from two of the top universities in the entire world. As expected, Pooja and Braze Mobility rose to the very top of an enormous cohort in Toronto, so we handed her off to the Founder Institute team in Silicon Valley, where Braze quickly grew to be in the top 2% of health tech companies in Founder Institute's global portfolio. And from Founder Institute, the path led to Techstars. Braze has already generated revenue serving the veterans community and is scaling rapidly across the VA. Please join me in welcoming Pooja, the CEO of Braze Mobility.
Hi, everyone. Meet David Watson. David has been using a power wheelchair for many years, but 2 years ago, staff at his long-term care facility were about to take his power wheelchair, his only means of independent mobility, away from him. You see, David needs to drive in a tilted position and often can't see what's around him, so he was having accidents. Staff felt they needed to choose David's autonomy or the safety of everyone in the home. This is not just David's story. 20% of power wheelchair users experience at least one major collision within a year, and 11% of these users are hospitalized. Accidents like this often lead to embarrassment and even exclusion from the use of power wheelchairs altogether, even when no other alternative for independent mobility exists. I saw this as a violation of a fundamental human right and co-founded Braze Mobility, where we've created the world's first blind spot sensors for wheelchairs. Our product restores dignity and independence back to the user, reduces caregiver burden and stress, decreases property damage, and increases safety for not only the user, but others in the environment as well. So why now? Well, because most cars we drive today have blind spot sensors, which have been mandated in the automotive industry. Why shouldn't wheelchair users have the same right to peace of mind and safety? Our blind spot sensors can be added to any wheelchair, transforming it into a smart wheelchair that provides alerts to the user through intuitive lights, sounds, and vibrations. My name is Pooja Vishwanathan, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Braze Mobility. I have a PhD in assistive technology and robotics, have worked at Honda Research Institute, and have been leading smart wheelchair research and international collaborations for more than a decade. My co-founder, Dr. Alex Mihailidis, is a world leader in aging and technology, with over 150 peer-reviewed publications in the field. Terrence Ho has led customer experience strategy at Bombardier and assistive technology companies, and is a family caregiver to his brother who uses a power wheelchair. We have wheelchair users on our team who drive our innovation forward. Pun intended. The mobility aids market is $1.14 billion, and our entrance market is over 3.7 million wheelchair users, up to 91% of whom can benefit from smart wheelchairs, according to researchers at the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. We've already filed patents in North America, Europe, and Asia, have vast connections to clinicians who are gatekeepers of assistive technology. Our system adapts to the varying abilities of our users at no additional manufacturing cost to us. We also have strong traction with key stakeholders in the space. We launched commercially this February and have sold over 100 units, generating more than $100,000 in revenue, with our largest customer being the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. The VA has featured us in their national newsletter. We've sold to 6 VA hospitals and are collaborating with 2 of the largest blind rehab centers in the VA and in the US. During COVID, we doubled down on digital marketing, virtual demos, and onboarded some of the leading manufacturers reps with established VA connections in 37 states. We've also set ourselves up for growth outside the VA by partnering with some of the largest dealers in the US and Canada, giving us access to over 70% market share and over 700 reps across the country. We're also currently negotiating with a leading wheelchair manufacturer for an OEM agreement, which will increase our revenue by 8x. And we've got more in the pipeline. Next year, we'll roll out our data analytics platform, which will revolutionize wheelchair training and assessment and help us eventually build more accessible cities through smart mobility, which will create additional revenue streams. As for David, this is him a few months ago, still driving his powered wheelchair. With our blind spot sensors, David has independent mobility and dignity. Staff can support his autonomy without compromising on safety. David's friend and advocate has peace of mind, because at Braze, we believe that mobility is a fundamental human right, not a privilege. Our mission is to help millions of wheelchair users all around the world navigate boldly, independently, and safely. If you'd like to join us in this mission, please contact us at founders@brazemobility.com.
Pick a market, any market. Can you say with certainty that the customer base will grow by 48% over the next decade? I doubt it. Many glassy-eyed entrepreneurs bet on growing markets, projecting demand but offering little certainty. Not Paige Wilson. She knows America's demographic destiny. In the next 10 years, the number of people 75 and older will grow by 48% to 34 million. Paige also knows that many will need help with their care as they age. That's because this generation, the boomers, didn't have as many children, which means fewer caregiving options. And that gap between supply and demand for caregivers is, well, exploding. So Paige created NeighborForce. It's an idea that once you see it, you'll wonder why you didn't see it before. Paige Wilson sees it with certainty.
4 hours a week. Now that might not seem like much, but did you know just 4 hours a week can help a senior stay in the home they love and lift the veil of loneliness, can give an overworked family caregiver relief, can provide an empty nester opportunity for purpose. And I'm going to show you how just 4 hours a week is all it takes to build a large, scalable company. Hi, I'm Paige Wilson, founder of NeighborForce. We're using technology to leverage the strength of community, creating a new workforce to address this country's growing caregiver gap. You've seen the stats, 11,000 baby boomers turning 65 every day. That's just the beginning of the wave. By 2050, there will be nearly 90 million people over the age of 65. Who's going to help all these older adults stay independent, engaged, and living in their homes? Throughout history, that first line of support has come from family. But here's the thing. Families are getting smaller. The number of family caregivers is dropping every decade, from 7 today to just 3 by 2050. And they're more geographically dispersed and often sandwiched between kids and career. We're on the verge of a crisis. Caregiver burnout is on the rise. But according to AARP, just 4 hours of outside help each week can make a big difference. I experienced this issue firsthand. Several years ago, I was trying to balance my demanding career, raise my teenage daughter, and help my aging mother. It was tough. There were lots of options once my mom needed medical care, but nothing simple to help me with all those little things that kept her independent and happy. I just kept thinking, I needed another me, what I would have given for 4 hours a week. I needed a solution. NeighborForce is that solution. We're bridging the gap between independence and medical care. We provide on-demand backup to older adults and their families by tapping into a network of community members we call neighbors. Neighbors can help around the house, drive to medical appointments, or simply spend time together. This is not healthcare. Neighbors are not nurses or aides. Our neighbors are primarily empty nesters and retirees seeking purpose and connection. We repurpose them into backup sons and daughters. And while they're paid, they don't view this as a job or gig. Neighbors work on average just 4 hours a week. Our target customers are primarily the adult children like me. They drive 80% of our revenue. And while we only have a 1 hour minimum, clients use us on average 4 hours a week. Our tech platform has lots of features, but the main benefit is our user experience makes it simple for families to get the backup they need and simple for neighbors to offer a few hours of help each week. What's not simple is our sophisticated algorithm that automates the connections. It uses tags, geolocation, and other smart technology, ensuring the right neighbor is matched with the right client at the right time. If the demographics alone don't illustrate the magnitude of the opportunity, let me take you through a quick bottom-up analysis. In our home market, Richmond, Virginia, we segmented the over 65 population, resulting in a target of 22,000 seniors. If those seniors seek just 4 hours of help a week, that generates an opportunity for $100 million. That's just one market, and that's just today. Remember, the wave of seniors is coming. Looking at just the next 5 markets we've identified as part of our rollout brings that addressable market to over $1 billion. Our traction around product market fit is compelling. We've delivered over 11,000 hours. We've been revenue generating since month 1. And our rebook rate is over 95%. It's a very sticky business. We've got a seasoned yet scrappy team. Brian led the development of our powerful tech platform. Carrie is a proven operator. And my track record in finance and as CFO of a Fortune 500 company has equipped me to navigate the challenges of a high-growth business. When COVID hit, we took swift actions to adjust our offerings and preserve our precious capital. Revenue dropped nearly 90%, but we've rebounded quickly and are poised for explosive growth post-COVID as even more people want to age in their homes and the whole world understands the toll of isolation. 4 hours a week can change the life of a senior, give families peace of mind, leverage the good in our community, and build a large, profitable company. If you're interested in hearing more about how we're addressing this pervasive and growing issue, let's talk. Thank you.
Today, our older adults living in senior living communities are not just affected from coronavirus. They are dying because of social isolation. According to the CDC, between February to October of this year, there have been more than 30,000 dementia-related deaths than average, compared to the last 5 years. I'm Paul Zappoli. As a leader, my job is to help create vibrant and engaging environments for our residents to keep them healthy and engaged. And I want to introduce you to Connect Care Hero, who is helping us address social isolation through their technology.
Growing up, my most memorable experiences were brought to me by my dad. He taught me everything about the farm, and he introduced me to mariachi music, which I love to this day. But I had a very unique experience. You see, my dad had me later in life at 57 years old. In my early 20s, I had to make the difficult decision of placing my dad into a nursing home. Over time, I got to know the activities team departments and other key struggles in keeping my dad's community vibrant and engaged. Because my dad had dementia, it was important he receive curated activities to bring him back to his normal self or closer to his normal self and not feel isolated. Because of his diagnosis and the lack of activity programming, I was determined to create meaningful experiences for him. We would cook tamales, we would sing to mariachi music, we would even do arts and craft that he really enjoyed. But that was simple. Just because my dad was later in his years, didn't mean he couldn't be living an enriched life. I'm Osvaldo, and I founded Connect Care Hero to help older adults like my dad. Because this is not an isolated experience. My dad is one of millions of older adults that don't get the social engagement they need. Today, a chronically ill older adult that's isolated is 3 times more costly on our healthcare system. One of the key struggles for healthcare providers is identifying which older adult is socially isolated, creating personalized programming for them, tracking their engagement, all while navigating the cumbersome reimbursement process for preventative care associated to social determinants of health. Connect Care Hero addresses these key issues through our digital platform that powers social engagement for older adults through personalized interactive programming. Our platform is designed to help communities save them time, connect families, but most importantly, create engaging experiences for their older adults. And how do we do this? By providing communities with world-class entertainment at their fingertips. We're creating the largest and most diverse activity booking platform with older adults in mind. Now teams can use preferences and demographics to deliver curated content to their communities. Events be experienced in person or virtually through our new live streaming technology, which is perfect for in-home and community settings. For instance, take a typical senior living community. For most activities team members, they don't have the time to get to know their residents and their interests at a deeper level. That's why we've designed our platform with simplicity at its core. We help team members, whether they have hundreds or even thousands of residents, by quickly providing activity recommendations, giving them the peace of mind that their activities will be highly engaging for them. Why is this valuable now? We help healthcare providers by identifying socially isolated older adults, creating personalized programming, reporting and tracking their engagements, and ultimately, improving health outcomes, lowering the overall healthcare spend. You can think of this as a reimbursement playbook. Our platform is relevant for senior living communities, hospice, home care, government, insurance, and many more that are looking to increase their occupancy, receive higher star ratings, which ultimately impact their reimbursement rates. Candu's market is threefold: senior living communities, home care organizations, and now Medicare Advantage plans. These three groups combined pre-COVID has spent $6.7 billion tackling social isolation alone. Our business model is simple. We provide these markets with B2B software as a service where we price based off per person per month. This allows us to scale with any size organization, giving them the confidence that they can accurately report and get their reimbursements. In just 3 years, our teams bootstrapped, designed, and launched our full platform and are now live with paying customers. We have a very diverse and well-rounded team with decades of experience in our respective fields, and we're ready to scale. During the Techstars program, we partnered up with leading experts in senior living and healthcare plans that believe in our mission and are now part of our advisory team. To date, we've expanded our team, we've launched our new activity vendor booking platform where we've grown from a handful of vendors to now over 200 that provide a wide range of activities that are diverse and educational. Right now, we have paying customers across Illinois in senior living communities. We're excited to launch into home care with a paid partnership in January 2021 with our live streaming technology, which will reach thousands of older adults. And we're excited about the new opportunities to work with Medicare Advantage plans that are looking to retain and attract their members, improve their star ratings, and increase their revenues. Our thought is simple. Our older adults, like my dad, just because they're in their later years doesn't mean they can't be living an enriched life. We've created our platform to help healthcare providers to provide engaging activities to help break down isolation. We're ready to scale and bring culturally enriching activities to senior living. If you're interested to learn more and see how you can get involved, let's connect.
My name is Lara Jaremko, and I'm the partner liaison for Pivotal Ventures and a lead mentor for Authored. My grandmother, a fiercely independent yet impeccably stylish woman, aged in place until she was 88 years old. As she lost mobility in her later years, I know her quality of life would have been drastically improved if she was able to independently dress herself with style and dignity in Authored's adaptive apparel. I am incredibly excited about Authored's potential to be the category leader in this space, and I am delighted to introduce you to the founder and CEO, Brenda Wilton.
Tom arrived home to a hospice bed in the middle of his living room, wanting to isolate from those he loved because of how he looked and felt. Robbed of his independence, dignity, and self-worth, his isolation also robbed his family. Fast forward to Christmas Day and the exchange overheard by his family. Tom, you're not putting on those pants. You heard what the doctor said. I'm putting on these pants. You can either help me or get out of my way, but I'm putting on these pants. Wearing his pants, Tom sat at his family dinner table for the first time in months. An inaudible sigh, Dad's back forever altered the dialogue and trajectory of his life and his family's life because he now felt comfortable to come back among them. All it took was a change of clothes. Tom is my dad, but this isn't just our family or my father's story. It's the story of 61 million adults living with functional limitations and the 48 million people who serve them as caregivers. Hi, I'm Brenda Wilton, founder and CEO of Authored, stylish adaptive apparel for adults and caregivers. Caregivers, both paid and unpaid, often in short supply, are always at risk for injury, 3 times the rate of the average worker in the US when helping with activities of daily living. The essential ritual of dressing can disrupt the day as a result of the physical, emotional, and relational pain, risk of injury, and the time and energy required when dressing is a challenge. The world is changing and so is aging. Baby boomers are approaching an age when they're perfectly comfortable in their own skin, but they're not comfortable getting into their clothes, which weren't designed with them in mind. The American population, age 65 and older, will more than double between 2015 and 2050, from 48 million to 88 million. Of these, 40 million have one or more physical difficulties. Almost 25 million find it difficult to or cannot stoop, bend, or kneel. And over 6 million find it difficult to or cannot reach over their head. And dressing is not optional. The U.S. adaptive apparel market at $47 billion is expected to be at $55 billion by 2023 and globally at $400 billion by 2026. Boomers spend 4% of their annual income on apparel and 53% prefer shopping online over physical stores, especially since COVID. How will you spend your 4%? As our bodies change, our fashion choices change. Most people want to appear well-dressed, but when simply putting clothing on is a challenge, looking good is often forfeited. As you can see, options today are less than satisfactory, often unsafe, and do little to cultivate independence, dignity, and self-worth, contributing to social isolation. But how we look affects how we feel, which affects how we interact with others. Authored is a remarkable solution for the millions of people who struggle with dressing and those who care for them. We believe you shouldn't have to work so hard to get dressed and that fashion should be available to all. Authored's discreet zippered openings are strategically placed to easily and safely manipulate the clothing rather than the bodies, to allow for ease of dressing for those who struggle with memory or limited range of motion. Tops can be put on with just one hand, buttons are tactile and are easier to manipulate, and our fabric choices and construction ensure skin is protected. We designed with and for adults and their caregivers, listening to their plea for fashion, function, fit, and fabric that was also stylish and comfortable to wear. The details in our designs can be life-changing for both wearer and caregiver. Partnered with Brookdale, the largest senior living provider in the U.S., we gained understanding of the unique challenges of both in-community wearers and care partners and perfected our product market fit. Authored is the only apparel offered directly to their residents. As a vendor of McKesson, the nation's largest distributor of medical, home health care, and long-term care products, and one of our channel partners, we have access to millions of long-term care residents, the aging at home, and the aging who are often attending to medical and rehabilitative needs. We have partnerships with affiliates such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and other programs developed to offer solutions to the challenges of the aging and their caregivers. We've built a solid foundation and positioned Authored to be the category leader for adult adaptive apparel to fill a distinct void in the apparel space. We've partnered with Red Antler, brander of Casper and Allbirds, to, in their words, launch an innovative and functional apparel brand that enables independence, style, dignity, and confidence for older adults. We'll continue to build strategic partnerships to broaden our reach and educate wearers and caregivers about the benefits of Authored, and we've got our eye on the future with new products and new markets. Our talented team has a solid understanding of the market space where aging intersects with apparel and branding to ensure everyone who gets up a day older having to dress or be dressed is able to do so in beautiful adaptive apparel that truly changes lives. If you can relate to our story, we'd love to talk to you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bernadette Alestia. I'm an operating exec, corporate board director, investor, and former Techstars mentor. I'm thrilled to be introducing Liz Hamburg and her company, Candu Tech, a tech-enabled subscription service helping us reimagine a convenient and safe technical support experience for the aging population. I'm excited for Candu to become the premier tech education support community that aging adults need today. I ran HBO's global distribution group for many years and understand the subscription economy, the importance of customer data and direct customer relationships while scaling a B2B model is what impressed me the most. Whether it be assisted living communities, healthcare, cable telco partners, OEMs, the opportunity to service this audience is truly exponential via channel partners. It's my pleasure to introduce Liz, a fellow investor through our Brown alumni group and an experienced four-time founder who's grown and scaled ventures as well as successfully exited them. She is a passionate advocate for the audience and someone who I was thrilled to invest in when presented with the opportunity. And so with that, take it away, Liz.
Have you Googled it? How would I know your password? By the dog's name? Do you see the Wi-Fi symbol? It's like a tiny rainbow. So highlight the text with your mouse. Double click, like tap, tap. I'm not getting impatient. Awesome. So just press Command V. V. Sorry, I'm sorry. Yes, I know you taught me how to use a spoon. I can't do it. I have to hang up because I love you that I have to hang up.
Does that conversation sound familiar to you? I know that I could relate. And based on the over 1.4 million views that video got, it looks like others could as well. I was inspired to start Candu Tech when I got a voicemail from my dad saying Alexia has gone out of town. And yes, he called her Alexia, and he didn't know how to get her back. My dad was actually an early adopter of technology, but as he got older, he had vision, hearing, and dexterity issues, and the Geek Squad and Apple Genius Bar support just weren't cutting it for him anymore. As a daughter, I was desperately looking for a solution. And as a seasoned entrepreneur, though, I saw a really big opportunity. By 2030, there's going to be 73 million people over 65 years old. They're actually the fastest adopters of technology. In fact, 77% own a smartphone today, and that's doubled just over the last 8 years. And they're going to spend 4 times more on technology than millennials spend on alcohol. Sadly, though, the majority of older adults are frustrated by and afraid of their technology, and they really very often need someone to help them set it up and show them how to use it. Most of the time, as in my case, that someone is a family member. But with the average family member living over 200 miles away, and even when they are close, as you saw in the video, they very often just don't have the time, patience, or skills to help. That's where Candu Tech comes in. We're providing tech support and training specifically designed for older adults. Our tech concierges connect remotely to clients, and we're setting up new devices with custom content, accessibility features, and even our very own branded support button. We're giving lessons to teach everything from the basics like iPhone 101 to how to use Netflix and order groceries, both in group lessons and one-on-one sessions. And then really importantly, we're providing that ongoing support to members to address everything from quick questions like, where is Alexia, to bigger tech support issues. Our secret sauce is in our tech concierges. They are tech support pros, and they're trained by geriatric experts like the team at Weill Cornell Geriatric team and audiologists to work specifically with this population. They're completely focused on the needs of older adults, and they're communicating patiently with easy to understand language. We are a scalable, tech-enabled service. We're using technology and data to automate and improve our services every day. I want to introduce you to Bill. Bill is living in a senior living facility. He has an iPhone, but he had never used it before. Our tech concierge was able to connect with Bill remotely and teach him how to take photos and email them to his doctor, all on his 105th birthday. We have recurring revenue coming from clients like Bill and his family and enterprises, including senior living facilities, area offices of aging, and social service agencies. And there are opportunities to add revenue from cable operators, health plans like Medicare Advantage, and product partners. As horrible as COVID has been, it's actually increased the need for people to stay connected using technology, and it's really helped us accelerate. In March, we moved from in-person visits in the New York tri-state area to remote-only service now nationwide. We were featured on the front page of the business section of the New York Times, and in 6 months, we've grown 240% to an ARR of $150,000 with partnerships from 2 of the largest senior living facilities, including Brookdale. By 2025, we're projecting $54 million in ARR with 200,000 users. That's just 0.4% of our addressable market of 52 million people. I'm Liz Hamburg. I'm the founder and CEO of Candu Tech. I've been a serial entrepreneur for over 20 years with experience scaling businesses, building brands and customer service teams, taking companies through mergers, and taking one of the largest cellular phone operators in Eastern Europe through an IPO on the New York Stock Exchange. I have an awesome team, including folks from the Apple Genius Bar, mentors from AARP, Care.com, the Geek Squad, and HBO. Our vision is no more frustrating phone calls. Candu Tech is going to be the expert in access to technology for older adults, improving the lives of those 73 million families. We'd love to have you join us in helping older adults say, I can do it. We'll see you after the event.
My name is Joyce Black. I'm a member of the National Pressure Injury Advisory Panel, and I work here in Omaha, Nebraska. We see thousands of patients naturally each year that are affected by pressure injuries. These wounds can become large, painful, costly, and even fatal. A tool that would support the reliable early detection could lead to earlier and better management of the care of these patients and have a huge impact on reducing the cost to treat them and save lives. It's desperately needed. In fact, it would be priceless. It would empower care providers in any care setting to obtain specific skin health information that they could use to personalize the care needed by these patients. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce Rubitection, a startup with a bold vision of eradicating this global health problem.
Superman, the greatest American superhero, best played by Christopher Reeves, fell from his horse and became paralyzed from his neck down. He survived for 9 years thanks to the best healthcare he could afford until he developed a bed sore that led to his death. And he's not alone. Bed sores kill twice as many people as car accidents every year, affecting 2.3 million people, killing 60,000 of them needlessly. If you can detect the condition early, you can prevent it. But early detection is difficult. The early test is manual and unreliable, affected by things like the lighting in the room or the color of the patient's skin, making people of color over 2 times more likely to get this condition, while costing the US healthcare system $11 billion in 1 year alone, a cost that insurance is no longer covering if it develops within the facility, shifting that cost back onto the facility. There are many healthcare conditions we cannot control, like cancer. Bed sores are not one of them. My goal is to eradicate this condition with the Rubitection assessment system. It's a patented handheld device that allows any user to detect a bed sore at its earliest stage. It's used with a software that supports risk analytics, care management, and telehealth, allowing any caregiver to save lives, save time, and save money, while allowing healthcare facilities to increase their Medicare earnings. I'm Dr. Santa Gaspard. I'm the CEO of Rubitection and the primary inventor of its technology. My vision is to stamp out this problem by making our solution the global standard tool for skin health monitoring. And we have the team to do that. I have a background in health tech commercialization. Dr. Hines develops our custom algorithms, and Michael Schilling supports prototype design and fabrication. We've surrounded ourselves with experts in the field. To get to market, we've already raised $1 million in pre-seed funding, used it to build a functional prototype, and clinically test it on patients in nursing homes. The results show that we can detect the early biomarkers of a bed sore with 96% accuracy. Compared to our competition, we are easier to use, more reliable, and lower in cost. This will allow us to dominate a $4.3 billion US market, which includes sales to hospitals, nursing homes, and home health agencies. We'll sell our product for $120 per unit, plus $4 for a disposable cover. And here is how we make money. For every 1 device we sell, we make $22,000 in recurring revenue. Multiply that by 12 devices on average, gives us $264,000 a year per facility. With over 6,000 hospitals in the US, that gives us a total addressable market of $1.6 billion. Within 5 years of launching our product on the market, we think we can capture 6% of that market, giving us a total sales of $100 million. And $264,000 is just 20% of what a facility might spend just treating bed sores a year, yielding an ROI of 411% over the lifetime of the device. And facilities have already started contacting us to either purchase the technology or to clinically collaborate with us. In 2021, we'll be working with 3 facilities to do additional testing. To scale to the broader market, We'll be working with strategic sales and distribution partners here, all who have provided letters of interest. Just earlier this year, Procter & Gamble evaluated us to be their next billion-dollar brand. To get our product to market, we're currently focused on prototype development before moving on to product development with the goal of launching our product in 2023. And bed sores are just the beginning. With the broader application of our same technology to other healthcare conditions like diabetic foot ulcers, we can increase our market to over $34 billion. But we're starting first with bed sores because no one should have to die from them. They are preventable. And with our technology, we can empower anyone with the ability to detect them early to reduce costs and save lives. And I invite you to join our revolution to improve care and do well while doing good. Sign up to be a clinical partner. Reach out to explore corporate partnership. Apply to join our team. I'm excited to talk to you. To learn more, go to Rubitection.com.
Hi, I'm Mary Furlong. I'm the producer of the What's Next conferences and a serial entrepreneur in the longevity market. I've been working with Anna Shapina of WiseFit for about a year, and I've been so impressed by the value proposition of the company in health and fitness and the difference it can make in the lives of older adults who are now 75 in 2021. It's a very large market with many chronic conditions. So health and wellness and vitality, especially if it's easy on an app, can be game-changing. I am thrilled that she is such a strong entrepreneur. She has tenacity, she has focus, she knows how to build a team, and she knows how to scale a business. So I look forward to watching this company grow and make a contribution.
Human bodies are made for squatting, lifting, pushing, moving. We're not built to sit on our butts all day. But that's what we're doing, sitting, especially as we get older. Then one day we injure our back opening a cat door or can't get up from a toilet. 8 out of 10 older adults suffer from age-related conditions, most of which could be prevented with physical exercise. I'm Anya Shapina, founder of WiseFit. I want to change the way we age. Physical activity can help delay or manage many of the chronic diseases. It staves off age-related muscle loss, inflammation. It helps control blood sugar and blood pressure. It makes us smarter and happier. We all know it. So why don't we do it? Meet Cheryl, our customer. 60 years young, a former exerciser. She now has a common set of health conditions that are holding her back. Motivated to exercise again, Cheryl doesn't know where to start. She can't afford a personal trainer. Physical therapy not readily available. These other options are for younger people who do burpees and crunches, not for people like Cheryl with her bad knees and back. She's not going to do silver sneakers either. That's for seniors. She's 60 years young. Well over 100 million people in the US alone are underserved by the booming health and fitness sector. They represent a huge market with clear demand and a gap to fill. We have built a fitness tool that treats Cheryl as the glamorous boomer she is, fun and relatable, with music, humor, and dance, but delivering tangible benefits with real strength training that would challenge you. We design every exercise with physical therapists to fit the needs of adults over 50 and seniors, balance training, core strength, dynamic mobility, even vision drills. Many of our customers want help with their backs, their knees, their joints, improving strength, range of motion, or balance. Each person is unique, and we are addressing that. Knowing that you're making progress is in itself motivating. We'll employ a gaming layer and community features to help foster behavioral change. We're building a digital coach that sees you as you are, meets you where you are, corrects your movement, and gives you a program custom to your body that delivers real, measurable results. The target audience is massive. Interested in health and fitness, reachable through social media. Our cost of acquisition is a fraction of the market, and the high conversion rates indicate a high opportunity for scale. The business model is subscription. It's a proven business model where unit economics works. Over time, we'll add an optional layer of personal coaching that will open up an additional revenue opportunity without an increase in acquisition cost. And that's not all. Once we're demonstrating behavioral changes with measurable results at scale, the amount and the quality of the data will open up opportunities for partnerships with companies in the healthcare industry. We have a team to execute this vision. As a former CEO of a marketing agency that delivered millions of users for brands like Epic Games, Oprah Winfrey, and Atari, I know how to reach our audience directly. Anton and George are experts in the respective areas of engineering and design. And of course, we're working with professionals in physical therapy and fitness. As a product that is currently in beta, WiseFit is the #1 app for senior fitness in the US App Store. In the past 90 days, our users have taken 20,000 classes. And just last week alone, they took 6 classes per user. Many of these people tell us that they had never exercised before. And here they are, in their 60s and 70s, working out. It's time to change the way we age. If you want to be a part of this greenfield opportunity and deliver the benefits of physical fitness to the millions of people who really need it, get in touch.
Hi, I'm Chris Matthews, the former host of Hardball. You know, over the years, I've seen the power that stories have to change lives. That's why I'm thrilled to be on the board of advisors of MemoryWell, which uses the skills of journalism to improve the lives of older adults. My mom had Alzheimer's, so I know the intimate frustrations, and I mean frustrations, of trying to get someone you love be taken as a human being, a real person, by the ever-revolving set of healthcare providers. I've known Jane Newton-Small since she was a senior correspondent, a top correspondent for Bloomberg, and then for Time Magazine covering politics. She has what it takes. I've seen her use her skills of tenacity and intensive reporting to investigate the complexities, but also the opportunities in the healthcare industry. She has the ability and the ambition to create value for millions of people, millions of patients, family members, and industry leaders. So let's welcome her to the stage.
Hi, my name is Jane Newton-Small, and I'm CEO and founder of MemoryWell. MemoryWell grew out of my experience caregiving for my father, who had Alzheimer's. And a few years ago, when I moved him into a community, they asked me to fill out this enormous 20-page questionnaire about his life. And I was sitting there struggling to write down the answers to these questions, thinking, I was literally a Time Magazine correspondent at that point, and even I couldn't answer some of those questions well. Like, describe your parents' 50-plus year marriage in 4 lines. That's like writing haiku. And B, who was ever going to read and remember 20 pages of handwritten data points for the 100 residents there? Nobody, right? So instead, I wrote down his story, and it transformed his care. 2 of his caregivers were Ethiopian, and they'd had no idea that my dad had actually lived in Ethiopia for more than 4 years early on in his career with the United Nations. And they became his champions. They would sit for hours with him asking what it was like to work with Emperor Haile Selassie. And Dad loved it because he remembered Africa still really well at that point from his early 20s, even if he didn't remember last week or last month or last year. So MemoryWell grew out of that experience. And in 2017, I left my job at Time to start the company. And since then, we've built a curated, single-sided marketplace that matches the patients, the providers that we work with send us, with our network of more than 700 freelance writers across the country. The writer then writes the story, we edit it, and then we put it up on our website so that families can build on them, adding in their loved ones' favorite photos, music, movies, readings. So whomever is sitting with them, whether it's a paid caregiver or a grandchild, has a whole toolbox of things with which to engage that person. So we're the only group that uses writers and narrative and applies it to healthcare. And I think that that's a really important point, because on the legacy side, we have a set of competitors that really just use versions of do-it-yourself questionnaires, whether they're video, audio, digital, or even still handwritten. And those questionnaires are not readily approached by busy frontline caregivers, but our stories are. And at the same time, the writers that we use file keywords when they file the stories, and those create mineable, structured databases that are hugely important for the providers that we work with. In fact, they're already buying that information from our competitors in healthcare, except that that information is scraped from publicly available sources. And that's, and our information, our data is directly downloaded from people's brains. And that's so much better and so much clearer, really giving you a holistic vision of that person. So with every single story, we collect about 72% of what are traditionally considered social determinants of health, which is a hugely powerful data set that at scale with AI analytics, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of stories, we can create a Nielsen rating system for social determinants of health that would be a game changer in healthcare. But I want to note that even with the first story, we make a difference. With the stories we're doing right now, we're helping improve value-based care scores for providers, and we're helping better connect patients and providers during telehealth and during COVID when families can't visit. So that's why we've gotten a lot of traction so far today. We work with more than 40 different companies, but I want to just note two companies here. One is Prospero Health, which is an in-home palliative care spinoff of Optum. And the second is PCH Mutual, which is an insurance company that insures 2,200 communities across the Midwest. With those two companies alone, we're on track to scale to tens of thousands of stories next year. All of which means that this is a huge market opportunity. We view it as a potential opportunity of more than $6.5 billion annually. We're focused on achievable scale with strong margins. And so we have the cost of acquiring a consumer for us is $142, but the lifetime value of that consumer is almost $500, which leads to an LTV to CAC ratio of more than 3. We're the perfect people to do this. We're a group of journalists, of technologists, of folks with business experience. Combined, we have more than 20 years of startup experience. Plus, of course, our network of more than 700 freelance writers, which is growing every day. We are MemoryWell, and we're putting the person into person-centered care.
Hello, I am Lisa Nichols, CEO and co-founder of Technology Partners, a full-service IT firm and now one of the largest women-owned businesses in the region. I'm also the mom to 3 amazing kids whose medical needs have required a significant amount of time and attention over the years. Our youngest daughter, Allie, has Down syndrome. I have been by her side at every doctor's visit for the past 25 years. A couple of years ago, our middle daughter, Paige, was diagnosed with several autoimmune diseases requiring a whole slew of doctors. My husband, Greg, and I are responsible for the coordination of getting her back and forth with appointments as she doesn't drive. Just last week, she had 3 doctor's appointments that required 2 to 3 hours out of the workday. A considerable amount of time for some, but for some, completely unacceptable. This is why I decided to invest in Resilient. I shared Dinesh's vision that with using robotics, we can bring the best doctors in the world to every neighborhood, because I believe our health system needs to be as resilient as we are.
On October 10th of 2016, my life as a surgeon changed. My father had a heart attack, followed by a long recovery. I moved my parents into my home and began my journey as their caregiver. I now understand how it feels to be stuck in an endless cycle of sitting in waiting room after waiting room for countless hours just so another doctor could spend a few minutes with my dad. And despite the rise in telehealth during the pandemic, 80 out of 100 times, families like mine still had to go to the doctor's office because we needed physical exams, labs, or imaging. For my family, this meant telehealth, with all of its convenience, still failed to meet its ultimate promise. My name is Danish Nagda, and I'm the founder and CEO of Resilient Health, where we bridge the gap between the convenience of telehealth and the broad scope of in-person care by offering neighborhood hubs where families like mine can get virtual access to their doctor, as well as physical exams, labs, and imaging close to where we live, where we work, and where we shop. And we integrate these hubs into a larger healthcare experience that allows families to get access to the most convenient channel that meets our clinical need. Each neighborhood hub is powered by our robotic telehealth technology that allows doctors to remotely control the position of medical devices so they can perform physical exams in real time. On the left, you see our robotic telehealth platform at one of our neighborhood hubs, where a patient is accompanied by an on-site technician who places the digital otoscope in the patient's ear and then lets go. On the right, the doctor is at their home or at their office, and just by touching the screen can manipulate the positioning of the otoscope in real time so they can get the perfect view of the eardrum needed for that visit. But this technology isn't just limited to ear exams. Doctors across many different specialties can pilot the same robot to perform their specialty-specific exam. And what does this experience really look like? Well, let's say you want to see a dermatologist because you're concerned about a mole on your forearm. Given the need for a physical exam, we recommend an appointment at one of our neighborhood hubs. You pick the dermatologist, schedule your appointment, and choose the neighborhood hub that's most convenient for you. When you arrive, you use our app to enter the hub. Our on-site staff takes your vitals and launches your appointment. The dermatologist appears on screen, takes your history, and uses our platform to examine you remotely. Together, you discuss the findings and come up with a plan. Our staff gets any labs, sends off any scripts, and schedules you for a follow-up visit with the same dermatologist, but next time via video telehealth. And you walk out. No waiting rooms, no hassle, just an incredible healthcare experience. And today, we're happy to announce that we've entered a strategic partnership with Reef to bring our entire network of doctors to a neighborhood near you. Reef is a real estate operator that transforms parking lots into community hubs with over 5,000 locations in 220 cities that are within 5 minutes walking distance of 70% of families that live in those areas. We're initially launching our neighborhood hubs in Miami in February of 2021 before expanding to Denver and then to Phoenix by the end of the year. Then we plan to go nationwide. Our partnership with Reef is quite simple. Reef pays for the upfront build-out costs, and we in turn share the profits generated at each location. Beyond Reef, we're also exploring similar partnerships with Kroger, CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, and Sam's Club to build neighborhood hubs at their retail locations. For access to our resilient platform, we charge a membership fee and bill insurance for each visit that's conducted through our platform. Members can pay for this membership directly, or it can be covered by their employer or insurance provider. To be clear, each membership covers the entire family and provides access to all the neighborhood hubs across our entire network. And with 95 million insured households in urban America alone, this would represent a $56 billion market opportunity. And while our initial technology is being built with neighborhood hubs in mind, we believe that the advances we are making will ultimately lead us to the point where our experience can be delivered in the home. And to bring this vision to light, we have assembled an amazing team. As a founder, I have built companies from the ground up and led them to successful exit. My co-founder and CTO, Jeff Gamble, has a PhD in neural engineering and has worked in product at VC-backed companies where they built the next generation of human-machine interfaces. And our head of engineering, Ilker Tunai, has over 25 years of medical robotics experience and was part of the team that built the technology used to perform the first transatlantic stent procedure. Our broader team and advisors consists of engineers, clinicians, and business professionals who are driven by the same common purpose. So, if you'd like to join us in our mission to use robotics to bring the world's best doctors to every neighborhood, reach out, because together we can build a more resilient healthcare system.